Just a little bit about me. So I've been considered to be a serial entrepreneur. I've been an angel investor for almost 10 years, and it's very important to understand that the reason I'm allowing myself to talk about the topics that I'm going to talk today, a part of the reason is because I do have the experience and knowledge as an angel investor, as a mentor, and an advisor to startups. So due diligence. Everything that we do is all about due diligence. And I'm sure that I will not need to convince anyone here why due diligence is so important for blockchain and crypto. But if you think that you know how serious the problem is, you're wrong. And I'll show you what I mean in the next few slides. Now, it's a bit hard to see the list here, but over here you can see the amount of scams that we found during our due diligence process, and we called out these scams on Cointelligence. Now the problem is not only the scammers. Everyone thinks that the scammers are only the problem in our industry. I would say that equally the problem is the scam enablers. And just to give you a few examples, we'll start with the crypto and blockchain publishers, and among them the biggest and the most well-known ones that everyone knows, and we've caught them enabling scams time after time. We have the crypto and blockchain event organizers, and obviously I'm not talking about this event because I'm here. And we have the rating websites, we have the influencers, we have the YouTube reviewers, and the podcasters. And the reason that I am saying that it's a huge problem and they are enabling scams is because people are listening to them or reading the content on these websites or the YouTubers or the podcasters, and they just listen to them, and following their advice, they are actually investing in projects. Now, if you think that it happened only with the ICO boom, you are dead wrong. It's still happening. I'm still getting emails and phone calls, people asking me about recommendations by publishers or YouTubers, and I keep saying to them, no, forget about it. If you do not understand the project, do not invest in it. Don't even listen to me. Now, before I move on to the next slide, I have to tell you something very important that I forgot to mention at the beginning of my presentation. You will hear me talk about blockchain and crypto in a very negative way today. But don't get me wrong. I got a phone call almost 2 years ago from a very good friend of mine, and he introduced me to blockchain and crypto. And after about 25 minutes of that phone call, I decided to dedicate my life to blockchain and crypto. And a part of the reason that I take this very emotionally and very personally is because I know, I don't think, I know that blockchain and crypto is one of the biggest revolutions that mankind ever had. And there are two main reasons for it. The blockchain part is going to change our lives completely. It's already changing lives. If you hear everyone say there's no use cases and blah, 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 then these people are either afraid of it or they are trying to mislead the public. And I'll even show a couple of examples about that later on. And I'll give you a few examples with research, especially medical research, with anything that has to do with supply chain. It's obvious that it's already changing as we speak. I am familiar with a few projects that finished successful pilots, and they will change our lives for sure. With regards to crypto, the main reason, and there's many other reasons, but I'll focus on that reason. The reason is it's the first time in human history that people can have complete economic freedom. Now don't get me wrong, I don't have any problem with any specific government, I don't have any problem with any specific bank, but I see people around me and they are suffering all the time, not physically here in the UK, because in the UK it's okay, I would say, but in other countries it's horrible. Some people don't understand how horrible it is. Some people can't get their money out of their bank account. I got a phone call from someone I know a couple of weeks ago that his bank account was blocked. He didn't do anything wrong. He's not a criminal. He just got blocked because there was an investigation going on in China, and they just decided to block thousands of bank accounts. Now, this guy lives from that bank account, and he doesn't know what to do right now. And there's so many other examples of banks taking money from people's bank accounts, like we've seen in Cyprus, like we've seen the crisis in Greece, and many other places in the world, that it's very clear. If you think that your money in the bank is yours, you are dead wrong. It's owned by the government and the bank. And like I said, I don't have an issue with them, but I would like to own my own money. I made my money, I earned it, working very hard for it, and I want to be in full control of the money. Now, I hear all the time people talk about KYC, AML. I'm originally from Israel. Israel is a country under terrorism on a daily basis. So no one can explain to me how important KYC and AML is. But when you use KYC, AML, like the banks are using it, because they want to keep the funds for a couple of more hours, for a couple of more days, sometimes even for months, that means that the money is not owned by us. And that's why cryptocurrency is so amazing, in my opinion, and also because it will allow so many people that are currently unbanked to have economic freedom and possibilities they don't have today. Now back to the scammers. Let's see. Red Bull endorsing a scam. Everyone knows Red Bull. When I get phone calls from people who asked me if they should invest in this company, and they said, but listen, it's endorsed by Red Bull. It's a scam. It was proven a scam, period. Rating websites. So at Cointelligence we do rating. Like I mentioned, we are rating ICOs, STOs, coins and exchanges. Our focus right now is on exchanges, but we've been fully focused on ICOs when we had the ICO boom. Now take Xsearch ICO as an example. You cannot see it very clearly, but at the bottom it says 3.4 out of 5 on this rating website. On another rating website, on the bottom of the right, it says 4 out of 5. Very high score. On this one, it's 7 out of 10. I just know it by heart, so you can hardly see it, but I know it. And on this website, it's 8 out of 10. Guess how much on Cointelligence? 0. It's a scam. We proved that it's a scam. It's a fake team. It's a fake project. It's a clear scam. How come they got such a high rating on these rating websites? Because they got paid. Very simple. Another type of a mini scam. And before I go into Initiative Q, I'll explain what a mini scam is for me. So with scam, it's very clear to everyone that the scammers are interested in stealing our money and run away. But with mini scams, there's different types of scammers that are doing, in our opinion, something very wrong. And I'll show you examples. The first one is Mr. Saar Wilf, who is representing and founded Initiative Q. Now, Initiative Q is one of the biggest bullshit projects that I have seen in my life. When they said that they are the next Bitcoin, and you don't see it in this headline, but I'll explain what happened here. I am saying, how do you dare call yourself the next Bitcoin when everything that you did was developing a landing page, something that takes one of my team members 2 to 3 hours of work, including the pixels that they implemented in that landing page. These pixels are tracking you and following you until the day you die. Why are they doing it? Like Facebook and like Google. These platforms are using that data in order to target. And today data can be more important than money. And don't even take my word for it, but take one of the biggest Bitcoin maximalists that's been around here for so many years. And when Mr. Saar Wilf claimed that his project is worth $2 trillion. And I'm reminding you again, he has a landing page, excuse me, he released an application about a month ago. An application that I wouldn't let even my junior developer do. And it only takes about 3 weeks to develop such an application. And this is not a scam, but it's a mini scam. And you can't read what's written on this slide very clearly, but this is an email that I got trying to explain to me why I have to join this amazing revolution and why every second that passes I'm losing money. They are using MLM techniques, multi-layer marketing techniques, which by the way I don't think are completely wrong, and it depends on how you use MLM, but when you use it for these kinds of projects, it's very wrong. Now, this lady, back to the scam enablers, is called Layla London. Layla London is an award-winning journalist, publishing her content on Forbes. And this is the new headline, but the previous headline, before I approached her and attacked her, she said, "Is this the next Bitcoin?" Question mark. And I approached her and I asked her, "How are you calling this the next Bitcoin? What kind of blockchain or cryptocurrency knowledge, experience do you have? Because you're an award-winning journalist and people are following what you're publishing and people will invest or do whatever Mr. Saar wants you to do." In this case, after I approached her, she just changed the topic. She did a redirect from the old blog post that she published to a new one. And in this one, she interviews Saar and he explains why people are attacking him and why they are wrong. CNBC. CNBC is a very, very well-known network. Everybody knows CNBC. And Mr. Ranoir here is one of the biggest influencers in the crypto industry. And when this scam appeared on his show, claiming, and I'll read from the bottom, that they reduced a 90 megabyte file to 472K, I checked it. I didn't let my research team check it because none of my research team is a compression expert. So I approached myself to 12 CTOs and I did a survey, and 4 of them are compression experts and they all had the same answer: bullshit. When I approached Mr. Ran and I asked him, "How come you're going on air letting these people claim these false claims?" His answer was, "It's not my job to do tech due diligence." Whose job is it then? Mr. Nick Aiton, one of my recent research stories. So Mr. Aiton raised money for an ICO called 21 million. And let's put aside the fact that this ICO was about creating a blockchain movie. That's my favorite. Landing blockchain on the moon, a blockchain phone, a blockchain movie, all kinds of things around blockchain that doesn't have anything to do with blockchain. And when they raised the money, they did 2 things that are very serious and very bad in my opinion. One is they created a fork. The founders had a fight and they decided to split, and each one of them is running the same project with the same name. Now, the investors don't know anything about it. And the worst part is that they got 2 things are the worst part. One is there was an issue with missing funds, like we see all the time with crypto. Suddenly funds are being missed, and until today nobody knows where they are. And the biggest problem that I have with this is that Mr. Nick Aiton has an advisory company called Chain Starter, the one that you see on the topic. And he decided that it's okay to take the funds from the ICO and transfer it to his own private advisory agency. And when I asked him, "Why did you do it? Who even agreed for you to do it?" He said, "Don't worry, it's completely fine. We have an agreement." I asked him, "Oh, really? And who signed on the agreement?" It turns out he signed on both sides. Amazing! And the last part is that Mr. Nick Aiton already was involved in a huge scam that took 13 million pounds from UK citizens, their pension money. And he's saying that he doesn't have anything to do with it, and he's the one that joined the company, and then he was the one to help catch the other founders. Maybe he's right, but let's put it this way, this guy goes around making recommendations on crypto investments. I wouldn't let him even advise me on my son's piggy bank. Seriously. Another celebrity, Steven Seagal, was a very memorable childhood hero for me when I watched his movies. He endorsed a clear scam. Obviously he doesn't understand blockchain and crypto, he understands karate, but not blockchain and crypto. The corrupted ICO advisors. By the way, all the ICO advisors are now either STO advisors or IEO advisors. Every time there's a new initial, they change it. In this case, we see, and you can't really read it, I'm sorry about that, it's very bad. But you can see that my head of research, my previous head of research, approached them about an ICO that we investigated, and this guy and the next guy gave the same answer when he asked them about the CTO. As I mentioned at the beginning, I have experience mentoring, advising, and investing in startups long before I got into blockchain and crypto. And these guys are on the about 40 to 50 different crypto websites as advisors. And when we approached about this ICO, they explained to us they don't know the CTO, they're not familiar with him too much. How do you join an advisory if you don't know who's the team and what's the capabilities? Why? Because they get paid. This website is a website that we found is being used by a very sophisticated AI algorithm, and it allows you to create fake images of fake people. Now when you see the image, you are absolutely sure that it's a real person, but it's not. It's completely fake. And that's what a lot of the scammers are using when they are scamming the public. The regulators problem, and I'll just explain it very shortly. My partner, Hossam Azawi, at Cointelligence, approached the SEC, and he approached them 3 times about an ICO called Envion. And he approached them about, I don't remember the exact time, and it's written here, so don't catch me by my tongue, but about 6-7 months before FEMA, the Swiss SEC, issued a warning and announced the fact that it was an ICO, a scam ICO. And I'm asking, where are the regulators? Okay, you don't know and you don't understand blockchain and crypto enough, but at least when someone approaches you 3 times, check it and make sure that it's a scam or not a scam, because this could have saved tens of millions from innocent investors. And that's my problem with the regulators. By the way, I'm very pro-regulation, and I am always offering my help to regulators for free, by the way, me and my team, just to help them in order to get things going and faster. And that's the entire story that I sent you with the different dates and so on. Another huge example of a huge Ponzi scheme. The victim lost 27 million pounds, according to this journalist. I think it's much more, much more. It's a scam called OneCoin. CoinGecko's rating system. Now I have to tell you something. CoinGecko is a very well-known website in the industry, and I personally really like most of the things that they do. And the only problem that I have with them, and it came up recently, is that they started a trust score. They probably saw that Cointelligence has a rating exchange system. They saw that the problem with the industry is everyone is complaining about fake washing trading volume and so on and so on. So they started a trust score. When we check this trust score, and you can see that, you can't see, but I'm telling you that the image shows an exchange called Heat B2C. Heat B2C is one of the scammiest exchanges in our industry. We approached them when we did the rating for them, and we asked them to disclose who's the team. Their answer was, some people are, they would like to stay private. I say, okay, so my head of research asked them, okay, fine, but people are putting thousands, tens of thousands, millions in your exchange. They are entitled to know who's behind at least someone, one of the shareholders, one of the C-level management team members, nothing. The same answer again and again and again, and we approached them a couple of times. Even I myself approached them on Twitter, and they give the same answers. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we published a research article that shows that they are probably insolvent or just about to become insolvent. And we recommend everyone to take their funds out of it as quick as possible. Now, my problem with CoinGecko, in this case, is that they are appearing on the trust score with a green color. And that's very, very wrong, in my opinion. And that's the article that we published on Cointelligence with regards to hate B2C. And just to give you a summary of the rating system that we developed, and this is relevant for ICOs, STOs, coins, and exchanges. Obviously, each one with different factors. So we have data integrity, vision, team identification, product, legal entity, social engagement, and marketing. The reason that we have social engagement and marketing is because it's crucial for crypto. Everyone knows that everything happens in seconds in crypto. And if you cannot manage your Telegram group, for example, then you have a problem. It's not a regular customer service line that you have with regular companies. The other reason is that when we analyze the marketing, we make sure that the marketing is not over-optimized to full investors. And it is happening a lot, just as an example. I'll skip that part. I'll just tell you here that 30% of the rated ICOs and STOs didn't have a competitor analysis, which is a must in our opinion for a startup to analyze and to show potential investors. And we've seen that 10% of them copied content. Now, just so you understand, the white paper is the most important document. And when we found that the white paper was copied, either 1 page, 2 pages, sometimes even the whole white paper, obviously that's a very clear red sign. I'll skip that part. The crypto exchanges. So we have, right now it's more than 300 exchanges listed. This is an example of a negative rating or a low rating. And what we check when we analyze the exchanges is what I mentioned before, but we also check the user accessibility, the customer service, everything that has to do with security, with regards to hacks and so on. And proof of reserves is something that we recently added, which is very important. If you don't know what proof of reserves, it means that if the exchange will get hacked or if it will go bankrupt, then they have to have some kind of insurance. And it's not insurance, it's just enough funds to cover what the users are owed. I explained it in a nutshell, it's much more complicated than that. This is an example of a great exchange that we don't have any business relationship with. We didn't even know them before. I mean, we did hear about them, but we didn't know them. And because of the rating system and because of the process they did with us, we actually became friends afterwards. We're still not in a business relationship, but we became very good friends. The reason is, not only they had a great score to begin with, we gave them about a 7+. After we asked them to disclose documents, because in some cases we need to see documents, because sometimes what's shown publicly is very different than what it is in real life. And they collaborated with us in full. They gave us everything, full transparency, full trust. This is my idea of cryptocurrency. And I'm saying again, I don't have any business relations to them. And in my opinion, the next round that we will do, my head of research is working on the next round because we are updating the rating on a regular basis. I think that they will even get a higher rating. I'm not sure yet, but I think so because they're doing so great. They have the best security, they have the best regulation, and so on and so on.
How can you rate an exchange as high value? The exchange is keeping your keys, which is your security.
Again, sorry?
Cryptography is built to keep the keys in your hand. This exchange is not handing out the keys to yourself. So how can you rate that that's high security? I easily can hack them through the keys and they're not able to recover my funds.
Okay, so you're talking about two different things.
Yeah, exactly.
No, of course, but I'm saying... So he's asking how can we rate exchanges when in some cases the exchanges don't allow you to hold the keys completely onto your own. And that's a great question because obviously the crypto way and what I mentioned before about complete economic freedom is to own it yourself and and have the access to yourself and no one else. So the point is very simple in the way that we see it. The exchanges are meant for trading. We always tell everyone, every day, before you go to sleep, you have to transfer the funds to your own private wallet. It doesn't work otherwise. Right now, there's no solutions for what you just asked, and it's an amazing question. But that's why we advise people not to keep it. It doesn't matter what exchange it is, it's just not recommended, even the best one. But if you ask me, I go to sleep at night very calm when my money is on liquid. I'm saying again, I'm not soliciting liquid and I'm not recommending anyone to use it. I'm just telling you how I see it. But that's the only way that we have right now. If you ask me in 5 to 10 years, it's going to change and we're going to see a lot of advancements. And I'm sure that the private wallets I'm pretty sure that the private wallets could be connected to the exchanges in a way that it will take like this to transfer it, and it will not be as hard as it is now. Because now, if you want to transfer it to the cold wallet, it's a pain sometime and it takes too much time. So a summary of the rating of the exchanges. We rated, right now it's more than 100 actually. Only 10 exchanges received a score of 7 or more out of 10. 16 exchanges received a score between 5 and 7 out of 10, just so you understand how bad the situation is. And the rest, about half of the exchanges, were rated below 5. There's no doubt that decentralized exchanges are needed, especially following what you just mentioned yourself. And we've witnessed one major flag, as I mentioned before, that most of the exchanges, which is more than 50%, would not disclose the team behind it. Now, with comparison to Hit B2C, I'm saying that when it's about not well-known exchanges, okay, fine, I might get it. I would never trade there, but I might get it. But with an exchange like Hit B2C, which is so well-known, and for some people it's like trusted, it's very bad. Oh, and by the way, when we approached Binance, when we started the second round of the rating, and we approached their customer support, and my head of research asked, okay, we would like to know who's the team behind Binance. Everybody knows it's easy, but who are the others? Who are the shareholders? Who are the other C-level positions? The answer was, CZ is the team. Amazing. And in this case, another exchange we approached, we got an answer with regards to the team. And we asked a couple of times. The last answer at the bottom is, the team is a great team. I'd like to remind you that as much as it looks negative, and as much as we have so many problems with the industry at the moment, I am sure that it's the biggest revolution, and I advise everyone to go into blockchain and crypto. Either way, if you're a developer, if you're a content person, if you're whatever, there's always room for more people to join in and participate, and the sooner, the better. Thank you.